Leo, full moon, square, Uranus, and Taurus. In the past, through Venus context of spiritual lessons, we had a lot to learn about seeking attention, seeking validation, seeking for status and matters and affairs of life to attach our ego to supplement false ideals of value. And it just so happens that Leo, which is the true light of the self, what we are meant to shine for, is in square to the algorithm of value, Taurus. And a square simply means that discipline or sacrifice is going to be the outcome. And hopefully, discipline over our urge to shine and have so much attention and validation. Hopefully that discipline can restrain us from spoiling opportunities or blessings that are scheduled for us at Taurus. Uranus can present things in ways that are quite shocking, unbelievable, messy, disruptive. But if we have enough patience, humility, quiet of mind, we could see the real opportunity at hand. It's like volcanoes and earthquakes. They're messy and dramatic when they happen, but in the aftermath, a new landscape is there. And that new landscape means new opportunity and possibilities that was not there before. And starting over, of course, is an innovative effort, not a creative effort. When you start something over, you are innovating, not creating. And Uranus rules the algorithm of innovation in the same way that Mars rules the algorithm of creation. So the opportunity or chance to innovate, Taurus, opportunities in your life according to your second house and Taurus, whichever house that you personally have Taurus ruling over, innovation is being presented to you. Is being presented to you in a way that is irresistible, a way that you have to take upon. And you have to take upon it either with, again, discipline or sacrifice, one of the two. So there's going to be a compromise. What you take value in, especially through stability and security in your life, and your urge deep within you to finally shine, to have the recognition that you really want, the attention that you're longing for as well, and for the voice of the inner child to be heard. But this is something you have to weigh in a mature sense. Have we learned yet? Have we learned through the lessons of losses, through the lessons of downfalls, that nothing in the physical realm has permanence? Nothing in the physical realm has stability for us, not even status that's appointed to us. But there's one status that we have the power to give ourselves that no one can take from us, and it is only through discipline. Discipline, order and structure through Saturn that we form ourselves through. When we form a character for ourselves, an image for ourselves through our disciplined lifestyle, no one can take that. And it comes with authority. It comes with discipline. And when you have authority and discipline over the self, you naturally exercise it over others without being overbearing, because it becomes influential, irresistible even. A lot is going to be exposed about what we have or have not been doing with our time and our energy, and rather or not we miss the opportunities because, quite frankly, we was bullshitting. Now, in a collective sense, this Leo Taurus square, because of Uranus, it highlights a youth. It highlights a youth It highlights an innovative authority, which I'm going to reference Doge, okay? D-O-G-E, Doge. If you don't know what Doge is, you're dead. You're fucking dead. If you don't know what Doge is at this point, you are part of the problem. You are why we are in the turmoil we are in, the ignorance that you love to soak in, the bliss of ignorance that you will not overcome. At this point, it is deliberate. You choose to be so fucking dumb. If you don't know what Doge is, you're a sad story. You're just fucking sad. I'm sorry. I wish I could emphasize it even deeper, but I'm trying to change myself and be a better person and communicate more loving, okay, from the heart. But I really mean it from the heart that you're a piece of shit. If you don't know what Doge is, you're a piece of shit. I swear to fucking God, you're a piece of shit. And you're the type of people that don't care to know what the fuck is going on in our world. But anyway, I digress. Doge manifests Aquarius pressure in and of itself, Uranus pressure in and of itself, especially with Elon Musk. Whoever Elon Musk is, that is a combination of Aquarius and Pluto in and of itself. The fact that he's a billionaire, Pluto, and the fact that he brings innovation, innovative technology into every instance, and disruption, Uranus, into every instance, that is Elon Musk all day. Elon Musk hired a staff of young computer whizzes, geniuses, okay? These are just kids, young adults, under 20 something year old, okay? All of them are under 25. And which are not kids, young adults, you understand? But some of them are kids. Some of them are still teenagers, I think 19 or whatever. But anyway, there's this particular one, his name is Big Balls. You understand? His name is Big Balls. And he and his team of these young computer bulls, okay, these computer bulls, they expose USAID, USAID, as well as other departments for money laundering, allegedly, mishandling and misappropriation of funds, allegedly. Everything's being exposed by that Pluto. And it's channeling its exposure through Elon Musk and the Doge department that Donald Trump set in place. And there have been reports of staff members of USAID, okay, United States Aid, okay, which that department is being shut down. They all had to go before this kid, Big Balls. They all had to go before kids, okay, somebody young enough to be their kid. These are people with extensive experience that goes decades and decades before he was even born. They've been doing this, but yet they find themselves in front of this computer whiz kid trying to justify or convince the kid of why they should still be working, why they shouldn't lose their job. That is a Leo Taurus square. It's where at Leo full moon, you have to swallow your pride in order to keep what looks like an opportunity of status, success, the ability to afford comfort and stability for yourself, job security. That's Taurus. Okay, so you have to either have incredible discipline over the self to see the bigger picture and what you want, and not go off on a tangent because who is this kid in front of me trying to tell me what to do, and I'm old enough to wipe your diapers. Like when I was in college, you was a fucking sperm cell. This is imagine what they are feeling. How humiliating this is. That their master has become the person whose mercy they are at is a kid. But then when you flip it the other way, they should ask themselves, okay, have I become attached to this status? Have I become attached to something? And you said United States aid. And also look at the corruption that's going on there. Some people obviously are relying on those funds. They went in deep. I'm sure there's a lot of things that we don't know. But beside that, Just looking at it without getting into conspiracy and all that other stuff, the fact that it's a job, it's a career, okay? This is how I feed myself. This is how I take care of my family. I've been doing this for years or decades. This is how I know myself, or this is what I thought I was. So that reality is in conflict with the reality of self not being defined. It's in conflict with the reality of self not being clarified, not being understood. And it also shows how you're caught off guard. Because the 24th Leo degree, it shows a man who has disheveled hair. He's unprepared. He's unkept. He's wild. He's sitting there with jelly stains all over him. Okay? These people got slack. They got complacent, in other words. It represents complacency. They got complacent. They got comfortable. And now Uranus brings a shock of revelation and exposure through Taurus, the workplace, the career, the environment, finances, dealing with finances, Taurus, the bull. And now you're in a crisis and you have to get up quickly and get yourself together. Now you have to find a way to justify why you should even be here. You have to beg for your job. You have to ask for another chance because you fell asleep. You started slacking. So when we look at collectively what's taking place, you can understand that in some way, in essence, it's also going to be the same way in your life if you are that person who is slacking, who is getting complacent, who is caught with your pants down. Now, with the Sun and Mercury, as well as Ceres at Aquarius, what this shows is that there's going to be some feedback that's going to feel moon. It's going to feel moon, full moon. It's going to feel like scrutiny. It's going to feel like judgment or criticism. It's going to feel like a Debbie Downer. And what it's going to do is it's going to end the slumber, the disheveled hair, the ketchup stains on the shirt of a depressed soldier who was not called back to war, a depressed union carpenter that wasn't called to do the job. You're going to get feedback that includes how you should possibly care for yourself, Ceres. What you need to observe about yourself in order to polish and refine the gold of Leo in you so that you could rise to the opportunity that Uranus is going to present at Taurus through disruption or unforeseen events. The feedback is coming. And now it's time to clean the gold, polish the gold, because this is what you're supposed to be doing all along. Taurus, 24 degrees, channeled aggression. Sabian symbol, channeled aggression. A mountain Indian with scalp locks. During early stages of development, it remains crucial to establish identity of self and tribe by fighting for it if needed. Channeling aggression. Channeling aggression. Identity is mentioned here. Tribe is mentioned here. And fighting for it is mentioned here. How we fought in the past is not how we fight now. This is really the point. Same battlefield, different kind of fight. You have to fight from heaven now, not from earth. On Wednesday, February 12th, We have a full moon, Leo, that's going to have a square to Uranus and Taurus. Uranus and Taurus. What this is really about, essentially, is that there's a conflict, internal, that's reflected externally, between Leo and Taurus algorithms of the self. Taurus is where we have an instinct to strive for the highest level of stability and comfort that we could obtain for ourselves. It is where we strive to procure value according to value that we tend to cherish. This is specific to each one of our identities that are of countless combinations, of course. When it comes to Leo, this has to do with, it's been a long time that I have been dimming my light. I've been restraining myself from shining. I've been trying not to make too much noise because it seems like when I'm being me, everybody gets offended. There always seems to be a problem. So I'm trying to chill. I don't mean to disturb with so much light. In this new timeline, we're ready to shine with true and authentic light. We're ready to be ourselves in this life, and that requires the inner child to have a voice and expression. And that full moon at Leo says, I'm done. I'm finished holding my hand over my inner child's mouth. I'm finished with telling my inner child to shush, be quiet, sit back, don't make too much noise. People get offended when you say too much. People get offended when you do too much. This full moon closes the effort, the interest to silence ourselves anymore or to hide the light that we know we have. I can't do it anymore. And where the conflict comes in at is that there seems to be a need for compromise between my inner child's expression, my most authentic expression of the self, fifth house, who I truly am, and the threat that it has to my stability, comfort, resources, value that I'm able to procure in life at this Taurus location in your natal chart. So which is more important seems to be the illusion presented here, as if you have to choose between one and the other. The truth is that if we have learned to master the self, there's a compromising balance, a compromise of balance between the two that settles the score. I want to be able to express myself. I want to be able to be exactly who I know I am. I want to set my inner child free. I want to take my hand off of the mouth of my inner child so that he or she can fully express his or herself. And in expressing myself authentically at this Leo placement, it means I'm going to shine and illuminate, and that can make some people feel very threatened. It can make people feel uncomfortable with themselves. And here comes the drama. Here comes the drama. And where this gets pushed back is At Taurus is where you're trying to establish and show greater stability. There's something you're working there to increase the value that you see in your life, to increase the resources that you see in your life. There's some type of process there, of course, representing Taurus in the second house that seems to pose threat between you and the inner child's expression. Why do I have to choose between the two? Both are equally important. Self-sustainability through Taurus, being able to create the comfortable reality that I want to experience. And there seems to be possibly a peacock here who wants to give pushback to my most authentic expression. Somebody feels threatened, somebody feels uncomfortable about me being exactly who I am. This also could indicate that same conflict internally with yourself. You being the person who's uncomfortable with you being exactly who you are. At this Taurus location, power is going to be an exercise. Power is not something that somebody can give you necessarily. It's something you take. It's something you take. And how you take it is everything. There's going to be a temptation on this day to peacock around, to compare dick sizes, to see who has the biggest dick, to see who has the biggest gun. And you could fall for a very immature exposure of yourself if you're not careful. Authority isn't loud. True power is not founded upon addictions. That's what we should understand first. Now, let's walk backwards on what I'm saying so we can understand exactly what I'm saying concerning power. Before that we started to identify or connect with power according to this timeline through Pluto that left Capricorn and went into Aquarius, we had to fast from power. We had to fast from a sense of control and authority in the life. We had to fast from status. That is, for those who are on a developmental pathway. For those who are not on a developmental pathway, they still had that illusion of power and authority in their life, the illusion of status in their life. Therefore, they were not able to develop. And that's because they made the conscious decision not to evolve themselves. So they remain with the illusion of having been evolved, even though they were not. Follow me on that. Think real slow on that and what it means. But for those who constantly chose to evolve themselves, you had to get purged first. And the purged looked like this. You can't handle power with addictions. Addiction in and of itself reveals powerlessness, helplessness, weakness, a pathetic being. It reveals a person who lacks control or authority over the self, authority over the life, authority over the timeline, authority over the sixth house, authority over the 12th house, and what comes of it. When you lack authority over that 6th and 12th house, an addiction is somewhere taken over, and you're not able to see power. And when you're not able to see power, you abuse the illusion of power that you have. And you create power struggles everywhere you go. So the blessing looks like this. You lose a status that you thought would equal to a proof for evidence of where you are at in life, that you thought was a proof for evidence of your success or not. You lose access to certain resources, communities, social circles, groups, people who have certain status. You lose access to these things, certain type of jobs. Look at what just happened with government jobs. Thousands just got put on leave. Thousands were laid off. This is a consciousness. This is a type of energy that's prevalent in the common hour. But it's an illusion. Who are you when you don't get to have that status? Who are you when you don't have that particular kind of job? Who are you when you don't have that type of car, that type of truck? Who are you when you can't say that you obtain this in life or you obtain that? Who do you become when you had it all together and now you're sleeping on your brother's couch? You just had it all together. Now you're moving out and you're asking a friend for a helping hand. You used to be the hand that gives. Now you're the hand that receives. Who are you now? Did it cause a plummet to your self-esteem? Did it cause a drop of the confidence that you have in yourself? Do you still believe who you are? Are you still the same person? You used to see yourself as kingly or queenly. You that nigga. You that one. But when one of your attachments, one of your addictions are removed from you, you're exposed. You have no power. You also have no authority. Your self-esteem is independent, isolated from such status. Your status in spirit is the only consistent status that you have. It is the only evidence and proof that you have of who you really are in value. Not what your job title is. Not how much responsibility you handle or duty you show up for at the office. The type of car that you drive. How many miles it has on it. How old is the car? The gadgets that it has. But coming back into the reality of life. Back to life, back to reality, as the song says. This is no longer a painting of Venus. Now we're getting a look at what real power is and real authority is. So we had to start out in such a way. This is what really tests your understanding of that. This transit, Leo square Taurus. Leo square Taurus. Which one is really more important to you? The voice of your inner child, the expression of your inner child at Leo, or conformity in environments that gives you a promise or an illusion of status, of comforts, of resources, of having things or not. Resources. Second house themes. Which is really more important? Which one begets the other is a good question as well. Which one begets the other? Does Taurus themes beget the Leo themes, or does the Leo themes beget the Taurus themes? Which one takes precedence over the other? Which one is priority? Which one is most significant? We know that Taurus is earthy. We know that Leo is a fire. Fire is creation, creativity, consistently, the consistent flame. And Taurus is the substance of that which has been created or established, consistently, honestly, with integrity. This is a time where we really get a close examination of ourselves and how we're related to power and authority, and whether or not we see the truth for what it is, or we're still subject to an illusion. An illusion. Two cars pulls up. One is, say, a 1995 Toyota Corolla. The other is a 2025, say, Mercedes-Benz. And two people, well, one person gets out of each vehicle. And I ask you to look at both of these persons before they speak, before that you even get to see them step from behind their door, okay? And I ask you, which of them has more power? Which of them has more authority? And you might say the person who has the 2025 vehicle, because he was able to utilize his personal authority and power in order to manifest that into his life. Well, could that be an illusion? What about the person who got out of the used vehicle, the little 1995 Toyota? Is he exercising the same line and chains of commands through the self, authority through the self, power through the self, to restrain himself from having such burdens upon himself as a person with the 2025, thus freeing himself? One is a slave and one is not, but one is a very flashy slave and one is a not so flashy free man. Look at these illusions. The free man is not so flashy. The slave is very flashy. He's decorated. He has all these gadgets, these fancy things. But if he misses a car note, he doesn't pay his debts of loans that he owes to the bank for the big old house, the big car, his taxes, the women that he attracts through all these things that he has with him. How much money does that cost? And we look at the other man who's driving the used old vehicle, and we can't see that there's an illusion. There's a game being played on the eyes. It's tricking you right in front of you. It's right there in front of you for you to see, but you can't see it because of how you were trained to see. You were trained to see value in a certain way. One of them is free and one of them is not free. One of them is a slave to the bank, a slave to the credit bargaining systems. A slave. He could stand to lose everything. That gives him the illusion of having everything. While the other, he has nothing to lose. He's free. Whatever he does have is not with debt. because of how he chooses to lose. If I can't buy it, I won't have it. So the laws practiced within can also be practiced externally. And you can have a treasure externally in your life and be bankrupt internally. You could practice these laws internally in life and have wealth internally, but have the appearance of being bankrupt externally. But where the problem comes in at is that what people think of us, it matters far too much. The opinions that other people have of us, it matters far too much. And then it interferes with the strategy. It interferes in how we strategize, how we meet our mark, how we get where we're going, doing what we're doing. It matters too much. We used to, before the fall of feminism, before the fall of liberalism, we used to care too much about what females think in this society. That is slowly being dissolved. It's going away. Where men are caring less and less about what women think. And it's freeing them up of the burdens on their wallet, on their bank accounts, on their back, on their knees, their hands. They're giving themselves a break to live authentically according to who they see satisfaction in for themselves, not the opinion of some female who you can never satisfy. They're setting themselves free. The weight upon the shoulders of the one who's pulling up in the fancy car versus the one who's pulling up in a used vehicle. It's like night and day. How far can you run with 5,000 pounds sitting on your back? How far can you run with nothing on your back? The outcome of endurance is not even comparable. It's not even comparable. Because what you are bearing is significantly different. There's a great significance there to observe. Taurus 24 degrees, 23 degrees rising to 24, which is Taurus 24 degrees, is where Uranus will be at when the square takes place. The square is demanding that executive decision be taken and compromise between the two energies that seem to be in conflict. So when there is a square, it's two sharp angles that cannot harmonize. So when it cannot harmonize, there has to be a sanding effect, per se, to round off these sharp edges. That means a sacrifice has to be made in that case. Anytime there's a square, there has to be a sacrifice made for something to go forward. Something has to be sacrificed. The alternative is that you have access to exceptional discipline. That's the only alternative. So you're the one who decides which of the two is going to be the outcome. Is it going to be your level of discipline that you bring to the situation that rises to the highest level of benefit that the square offers, because every square offers a great reward if you access it through discipline? It also offers a lesser opportunity through sacrifice if you were not able to come up with the discipline. But discipline is what prevents the demand for sacrifice to go forward. It's going to be one of the two. Sacrificing the inner child's authentic expression for the opportunity to have an illusion, or even a reality of greater power and responsibility at Taurus so that you could obtain greater expansion at the second house, stabilizing yourself further, deepening your resources, increasing the value that you get to find comfort in? Or is it going to go the other way around, where you sacrifice all of that in order to have your chance to feel like you can fully express yourself and be happy with it, but you lost those opportunities? Then there's discipline. And the discipline allows us to have it all. Discipline allows us to have every bit of it. You can have discipline to where you do not compromise one or the other, but you find where there's a give or take between the two that allows you to have both values where the value counts. And where the value counts is not in how something looks. It's not going to be through satisfaction of our ego necessarily, but it's going to be in the reality that we uphold. What stands true in the reality? And the reality looks like an illusion to the false world. And the illusion looks like a reality to the false world. It's backwards. This may end up looking like, the situations where somebody think they won, but they didn't. You see where their weakness is. You see where they missed the opportunity to take advantage of a higher ground. And you're seizing the opportunity through your own discipline. I'm not going to blow the opportunity by being wound up in my ego, by being sensitive about what power I feel like I don't have, because the truth is, my power and authority is not confirmed by what somebody gives me or what somebody allows me, but what I choose in myself to confirm through my character, through my choices, through my decisions. And there may be delays, there may be setbacks, there may be seasons of humiliation. But I know that if I walk the line of integrity, honesty, truth, it's impossible for me to lose. It's impossible for me to fail. I will always have the upper hand no matter what. This is really what it means to turn the other cheek. Turning the other cheek doesn't mean to be weak. It doesn't mean to be a punk about anything. It means that you think from the eye of strategy, that there's much farther to go than the instant moment. It's not checkers, it's chess. I can let you have that one because I know how this is going to end. I can let you have that one because I know exactly where this is going to end up being. I know how this is going to play out. This can't be impulse for impulse, moment for moment, minute for minute. There's a big picture and I can see the big picture. And because of that, I'm patient. I'm humble. I'm reserved. And this is why we have to go through the steps of not having and also of losing. Because when you lose things, you confirm. You confirm inside of yourself. You confirm around you what has permanence. You're able to confirm and remember, sit with, identify with faculties, forces, outlooks, self-identification that holds permanence with your authority and power. If your authority and power is rooted in, based in, you put all the eggs in one basket. As long as I have this status, as long as I have this much money a year, as long as I have this kind of car, as long as I live in this type of gated community, as long as I'm able to take pictures on Instagram and show people that I live like this or I live like that, as long as my girlfriend or my boyfriend looks like this, as long as my husband or wife looks like this, As long as my body looks this way, as long as my face looks like this, as long as, that's an addiction. That's an insecurity. That's a crutch. All these things must be taken away from you for you to see true power, because real power is it's everlasting. It doesn't go away. It doesn't change as circumstance changes. It stays with you. And so does your authority. Your everlasting authority has everything to do with your discipline. And the discipline is born from that process of elimination, the purging, the isolation, suffering losses over and over again. When you have to deal with loss after loss after loss, you learn where real authority is at, where real power is at, because you get in touch with where permanence is at inside of you in life. You get in touch with where consistency does not change or stop. Your heart is rested in the eternal, the place where nothing changes, where nothing stops, falls, or drops. That is where your foundation gets rooted at once you suffer enough losses and setbacks, disappointments, downfalls, denials. No, not this time. No, not yet. Sorry, no, not yet. No, I thought it was, but no, it's not. When you are constantly going through that, you become a force to be reckoned with. Because your happiness, your contentment, your peace of mind, your strength, your authority, your power, it gets removed from all of these temporary facades, all of these temporary illusions, all of these fake forms of power and authority that comes and goes, gives and takes, it falls and it goes back up again. You keep putting it in these fake places, these false places, these illusions. And where does this come back to? The number 9. It comes back to the number 9, because this is what a person who has a life path number 9, a heart soul urge number 9, they go through this all the time. You're constantly losing things. You're constantly losing people. You're constantly losing status, and you gain a status, and you lose it again, and you gain a status, and you lose it again. You gain access, you lose it again. You gain things, you lose it again. You gain, you lose, you gain, you lose constantly. Until you become a person who starts to realize, hold up, I can't put my self-esteem on things that can die, on things that can end, on things that are temporary. I cannot put my self-esteem on such. And then you become somebody who's scary. You become somebody who people shit on themselves when you come around. Because they can sense it. They can smell the power on you. They can smell the authority. Like, this motherfucker ain't nothing to fuck with. This nigga ain't nothing to fuck with. He's not afraid of losing anything. He's not afraid of losing anyone. He's not attached to any status. He can't be bought. He can't be sold. He can't be manipulated. I can't dangle a piece of meat. I can't dangle $1 in front of him and get him to sell himself. I can't do it. This motherfucker is possessed. Who is this guy? That's how people start looking at you. They get so fucking scared they shit on themselves. Because you keep going through these losses, downfalls, ups, downs, ups, downs, ups, downs. You fall from grace over and over again till it's just another day at the office. You could lose the whole fucking Taj Mahal. You could make $1 million and lose $2 million. It won't even fucking faze you. It won't even faze you. You still the same. The same facial expression when you're rich, the same facial expression when you're poor. You're the same person when you're winning, and you're the same person when you're losing. That is an authentic person. That's an authentic person. And that's a person who sees through the illusion of life. That's a person who has defeated Venus. That's a person who has found victory over Venus. And when you find victory over Venus, guess what? You found victory over Lucifer. You took back your power from Lucifer. Now you became Adam all over again. You became the vicegerent of God all over again. Now you are a messenger of God. Now God can use you. He can send you here and send you there as a witness. He can send you here or send you there as a judgment. When God takes such people and put them in the midst of others, somebody's being judged. It's not for you to judge the person, but the fact that you are present with them, God is judging them because you are present with them. And if they don't get themselves together by the time you leave their midst, they're all going to come falling down. That's the number 9. When number 9s leave out of your life, a person falls from grace. So you should be very careful. If a number 9 ever comes in your life, it means that God is warning you to get it together. Because if you don't get it together by the time that number 9 is taken out of your life, you will fall. You will fall from grace. This could be the case also at Taurus, at your Taurus placement. You might have some peacocks walking around thinking that they really know what power and authority is, and they don't. And you're the one who has to come like a messenger to show them what it really is. And it's not about being a peacock. What this also shows is discipline over self is what begets discipline and command over others. When you have discipline and command over self, you automatically have discipline and command over others. And you do so gracefully. So taking power doesn't have the same presentation with a person who has mastered self as it does with a person who has not mastered self. A person who has not mastered self is very messy with how they take power. And they take power out of fear. Out of fear. They take control out of fear. They attempt to have authority through fear and insecurity. But when you have suffered these things, you lost and you gain. You lost and you fall and you fall and you fall and you lost and you lost. You constantly taking L's. You're not operating through your ego anymore because your ego has died so many times. You just left that shit alone. You don't even bother resuscitating it. It's like you don't even got a fucking ego. Nothing impresses you. Nothing excites you. And that's exactly where we need to be. Oh, opportunity is here for an advancement. Inherit greater responsibility, greater duty. Okay. I could see how that could benefit me. Sure, I'll take upon it. That's how we take power when we're healthy. But when we get excited about such, we're not healthy. That's not good. When you get excited about something good that happens, it's not good. When you get sad about something unfortunate that happens, it's not good either. Be excited for nothing. That's what the Bible says. Be excited for nothing. Be excited for nothing. You shouldn't get excited when you're going up, and you shouldn't get excited when you're going down. Neither one. Because consistency is not in the physical realm. Consistency is in your presence, your you're taking stronghold upon the spiritual understanding that you have of yourself and a true identity with yourself in spirit. That is the only consistent thing. All of this comes and goes. All of it. You're given a certain position, a certain role, certain responsibility, certain status, a job title, something you could be proud of. You got the shirts, you got the coffee mug, you got the name tag. The checks are clearing, all this other stuff. If you're healthy in spirit, if you're alive in reality, you know it's only a season. It's a season. It's a season that you receive. It's a season that you give. It's a season where you're the one who's helping others. It's a season where you need help from others. It's a season. Your power and authority goes in seasons in the physical realm as well, where there are times where you have to follow Even people who lack competence, people who are less wise than you, people who are less intelligent than you, people who are less experienced than you still have to follow. Even though you know better than that person, you may have to follow. You might have to follow a dummy. You may have to follow your own enemy. But if you're caught up in the illusions of the ego, you're still showing that you're attached to these things. You have attachment issues. You're still showing that you have addiction to these things to give you a feel of status, a feel of value, a feel of worth, a feel of being. That's not even true. Because none of it defines who you are or what you are. None of it. Because all of it comes and goes. All of it. It comes and goes. There's seasons where you could afford really nice things, and there's seasons where you damn near got to sell half of that shit just to get through. It's seasons. But are you the same person through every season? When it's harvest season for you, do you get arrogant, overbearing, egotistical, flashy? When it's a season for you to purge, let all of these things go. Do you get sad, depressed, can't get out of bed, you're moping around, everything's a problem, you're complaining, you're getting sick, all this other stuff? You understand? Why did you place your reality upon those things? Why did you place truth upon those things? None of those things can hold truth. None of those things can hold anything up to truth. None of this is even real. That number 9 is bringing us back to the reality, which is out of the illusions of Venus. And this is part of it. Getting at real power and real authority. Uranus presents a shocking, sudden event that comes from heaven. It comes from the command, the chain of commands from heaven. It comes from the order of heaven. It comes from the prescription of heaven. It comes from the register of heaven. It is thus what Allah says. It is what God says. It is what the Most High says. It is what Jah says. It is what God, it is what Olodumare says must be, says what must happen. And why would you think that what God prescribes is going to be in perfect alignment with what you anticipated, expected, thought? Because one of y'all has limited understanding, and one of y'all has eternal wisdom and understanding, and the latter being God. So perfect wisdom is guiding your destiny through Uranus. Perfect wisdom. Perfect wisdom is guiding it. So if it came down the way that you expected or the way that you thought, it wouldn't be perfect wisdom. Lean not into thy own understanding. What the fuck you thought this was? A shocking turn of events that lines you right back up to where your stability is supposed to be. And it's supposed to be through you recognizing where your power and authority is, which is not to be overbearing to others, to be a fucking peacock, but it's through taking upon the opportunities that your self-discipline has granted you to seize. Taking upon the opportunities that your suffering has now conditioned you to be able to handle maturely, responsibly. Taking it confidently, not in an overbearing sense, not shying away from what you've been prepared for, nor being overbearing concerning what you have been prepared for. But this is the moment that you have been prepared for through the suffering that you have been going through. And Leo had to be shut down for you to learn it. That Mars retrograde that dipped into Leo, it was part of the insight that we have to go with this opportunity. How we rise to power is everything. How we take upon authority is everything. But the one thing that we seem to keep forgetting, how much authority and discipline do you have over yourself? That is the only thing that gives us proper handling of others when it comes to discipline and authority. We can't discipline others if we don't discipline ourselves, because we don't have a leg to stand on when we do it. We can't exercise authority over others if we are not subjecting ourselves to authority. A person who subjects herself to authority cannot be had authority placed over them, because you are already subjecting yourself to authority. If nobody has to tell you to be at the job at 7 o'clock, you there at 6:30 every morning, how can somebody's authority even have presentation to you when you have already superseded what authority was to keep order to? You're ahead of the design of the order, because you're there at 6:30. You walk in a circle sipping coffee, waiting for everybody else to get there. You are exemplifying authority and discipline over the self. Meanwhile, everybody else pulling up, oh, it was a lot of traffic. The dog ate my homework. Yeah, my car wouldn't start. Yeah, me and my girlfriend had an argument this morning. You know what? I drove halfway here. I found out I left my keys. I left my phone. All these excuses. Excuses at the sixth house shows a person who has not taken command and authority with the self. So they have excuses. Why you're not here on time? Why you failed to do this? Why you failed to do that? You're supposed to do it. You're just revealing your incompetence. But when you pair authority and character with your knowledge and experience, you are showing improving competence, trustworthiness, good character. And your authority and command over others is natural. It's irresistible. No one can refute it. No one can fight it, because you are what you speak. You are what you say. You practice what you preach. You demonstrate, show, and prove that which you expect of others. That also exemplifies true leadership. So authority and power doesn't have to be messy. It's all internal, exemplified outwards. And nobody can resist it if you are being it. Understand? There's much less that we have to say when we're doing it. There's much less that we will ever have to say when we're doing it. And that's what this square also shows. It's not so much in what's going to be said. It's a lot in what you know you have the ability to show and prove when the opportunity comes. And when you step up to show and prove the responsibility and duty that you have the capacity for, you're the one who takes power. You're the one who's standing in authority. If you're the one who can prove and show, demonstrate that you have greater discipline over the self, that you have greater command over the self. You go into any environment, any place, and you watch the people doing whatever they do. If you can up yourself in discipline and command of the self more than them, you will be the one who's ruling them in a very short time. How do I know? Because I've done it over and over again. This is what I know. I'm a carpenter, a union carpenter. I've been all over the United States. And I put it into practice, and it works for me every time. It never fails. I know how to go to a place, perfect strangers around, and take command, take charge. Where I'm the one in charge. I'm calling the shots. I'm telling people what to do. And it's very simple. I look to see who is their alpha. Who is their leader? Okay, this guy. All right. So I got to be sharper than him. I have to have greater command of myself than he does. I have to have greater authority over myself than he does. I have to be more physically fit and capable than he is. No problem. In a little to no time, I'm his head. It works every time. It never fails. As long as you have your health and the command over yourself, your power and your authority will never leave you. Things will leave you. People will leave you. But your power and your authority will always be with you. Always. No matter what. Always. It will never leave you. You're the one who determines that. Just know that we have to go through those seasons of not having, of loss, of setback, of fall from grace, loss of status, all these things. All that took place at Taurus. And it's been taking place since 2020. Because Uranus has turned up the earthquakes and volcanoes in Taurus since 2020. And since 2020, nobody has been stable at Taurus. Nobody. I don't care who you are. At your Taurus placement, you have not been stable there since between 2018, 2020. You have not been stable. That place has been up, down, over, stop, back, go, lost, up, down, up, down. You don't know where you're going or coming. You lost your status in 2020 right there. And it's been downward spiral since. Up, down, over, all over the place. There's a reason for that. Because we had to learn to not identify with status, jobs, cars and things and stuff of the five senses to give us illusions of power and authority or value. Because none of those things determines value. We learn that because of those losses, setbacks, downfalls. And now that we learn that, we can have real power and real authority. We can step into positions of status, authority, and power without being deluded by it, without falling into the illusion, without being impressed by it. And when we are sober with power, when we are sober with authority because of that, we are more effective when we are sober with it. Because in being sober with power and authority, we are more capable of connecting on a personal and intimate level with all those involved. Now things can run gracefully. You could win the trust of others, the favor of others, and the gifts that others have to offer, such as their talents. Understand? Now, the full moon itself is going to take place at 24 degrees Leo. 24 degrees Leo. And this 24 degrees Leo, which is 23 to 24, because the degree is at 24 degrees 5 minutes. So I'm looking at both 24 and 25. However, 24 progresses into 25, all right? And I'll get into that detail. So Leo 24 is an untidy, unkept man, okay? This Sabian symbol expresses an untidy, unkept man. Holding focus. We cannot expect to excel to mastery of any kind unless we bring total concentration to the matter in hand. Giving attention only to what matters. Only to what matters. An untidy, unkept man. This says a lot. This says a lot. It's like being caught with your pants down. You know what I mean? Years have been going by, seasons have been passing, and you've been complaining about what's not going your way, what status you're not at, what you didn't attain, what you don't have, this ain't right and that ain't right. And then the opportunity comes your way unexpectedly, suddenly, okay? This goes to Uranus. A sudden opportunity, a sudden event, or a catastrophe, crisis, sudden event that presents an opportunity, okay? It may look messy, but it's really an opportunity. But you caught with your pants down because, guess what? You're not even ready for it. Because you was bullshit. You was bullshit. You sitting here talking about, for example, You a boxer, okay? And you complaining you don't get to box, the big guys. You don't get to, get the boxing events where you can make some real money, some real stars. So you get caught up in distractions of the hype, the noise, running your fucking yap all over the internet, talking junk, eating jelly donuts, hanging out, partying, throwing money up in the club. And then all of a sudden somebody says, hey, I tell you what, I'll fight so-and-so for $250 million. You got a jelly donut in your hand and you just heard this online, an announcement. You sitting there fat and sloppy, winded, having jump rope. You haven't been eating right, exercising, hitting the bag, none of that. It'll take you at least 6 months to get ready. But he's giving you this opportunity in 6 weeks. So who can you blame? You're untidy, you're unkept. And this point goes back to, you shouldn't do that in order to get that opportunity. You should do it out of respect for yourself. That is the point. That is the point. You should be ready at all times as a religious commitment to yourself, to be healthy, to be in sound mind, to be emotionally stable, to be mature, to be focused, to have clarity, to make sure that you're honoring and respecting that which you put your hand to by showing competence every time. That should be your values. Now you're slacking on your values. You're slacking on your image. You're slacking on your reputation. It's going to cost you now because your reputation's all fucked up. You're all disheveled. Now, part of this came from the Cancer Mars. Cancer Mars made your hair messy. 5 o'clock shadow. You're looking depressed. You're all sweaty and greasy. Sitting around drinking, liquor bottles all over the place, TV dinners. You know what I mean? You look terrible. You look horrible. You look depressed. You look like your wife just left you. First week of divorce. That's how you look. First week of divorce. Let yourself go. That emotional turbulence of Cancer Mars, it could get you into that place with yourself where you let everything go because of your pissy attitude. You just give up because your emotional turbulence just has you feeling so entitled to certain outcomes, results, responses, reactions, your emotional demands, to where you just gave up on yourself. You have no dignity left. You have no pride in yourself anymore because things didn't go the way you wanted it. Now that you see God has kept his promise, now that you see that it wasn't denial, it was just a delay, giving you time to get yourself together, but you cried for it instead. You complained about it instead. What did you do with that time that you had to get yourself together? What did you do with that extra time that you had to really sharpen up and become a master at what you were waiting on, at what you were denied for? You were denied and turned down over and over again. And instead of you using the time in that wilderness to sharpen yourself, to master yourself, to get yourself together, so that when the opportunity came back around, you would be ready. Now you caught with your pants down, looking fucking pathetic, with Kool-Aid stains all over your fucking wife beater. Chicken bones in the fucking carpet. You ain't took a shower in 3 days. You look fucked up. Your breath smell like liquor. Get yourself together. This is how, some people are going to be looking when Shango opens that opportunity through Uranus. And you sitting there looking dumb because you gave up on yourself. You blew it. And you have nobody to blame but your fucking self. So it's going to be a look at self like Okay, so you mean to tell me you was complaining all this time, and then when we give you the shot, you blow it? You ain't even ready? Never mind. We got somebody else to do it. Don't even worry about it. That's what this is. Holding focus on what matters. Because what's the alternative to what matters? What's the alternative to what matters? The noise. Okay? That's what Gemini Jupiter was about. It was the noise that was distracting you from what matters. And what matters in all situations is taking care of yourself, being as independent as possible, making sure that your values is what you exemplify, making sure that you are most authentic to yourself as well, making sure that the reason why you do the right things is not because somebody's watching you or looking and taking notes, but because it's what you really believe in. Making sure that the character that you show and prove time and time again is because of your personal ethos, not because of who you're trying to impress with it. It's just who you are. Now, when the opportunity comes around, there's nothing you have to change. You simply continue being yourself, and it's natural. And to others, it looks like a miracle. But to you, it's natural. I'm just being who I am. I do this every day because I never changed. The difference is somebody wants to give you greater authority or responsibility or put you in a situation that causes you to have an increase in your second house. Stabilization, greater status, greater resources, expansion of value. That's what this is really about. Or you looking like a caveman. Get yourself together. You're bullshitting. You're supposed to be focused. You're supposed to be focused. How many times do people do this in relationships? Because this is going to run in the relationship house of some people as well. 7th house or 8th house. Okay? 5th house. This is going to run into the relationship house as well for some people. Cancer Mars, you walking around here crying like a little baby because relationship situation didn't go the way you wanted. Now you let yourself go. When the real thing was to honor yourself no matter what. Keep yourself healthy no matter what. You don't go to the gym and get healthy to attract girls or to attract guys. You do it because you honor yourself and you want to be healthy. You want to be able to respect yourself when you look in the mirror. That's the real reason. That's the real reason. But when somebody leave you or when you get somebody, you stop going to the gym. You got a relationship or you lost a relationship. Now you don't go to the gym no more. You stop eating properly. You don't respect yourself. You don't read books. You don't give yourself, solitude to, process and regenerate. You don't take those walks at the park or at the river anymore and commune and talk to God or talk to your ancestors or whatever else to get your mind right, to get yourself centered. Because you got somebody or you lost somebody. So you get fat and sloppy, you stop taking care of yourself. Then when the right person comes at a time that you didn't appoint, but where God said it's the right time, guess what? You caught with your pants down. You done fucked it up. Because now the right person came into your life at the right time, but you are the one who decided to neglect yourself during that time instead of keep yourself together. You neglected yourself. Now you're looking fat, roly-poly. You're looking sloppy. You don't believe in yourself. You got low self-esteem. And you're going to sabotage the situation that was really meant to be a blessing for you. This is how life goes. You should always be ready. And being ready means being authentic, being true to self, taking care of yourself. Holding focus. We cannot expect to excel to mastery of any kind unless we bring total concentration to the matter in hand. Giving attention only to what matters. Only to what matters. What fucking matters? What's important? What's the point right now? What is the most important thing? Look at your Leo placement. Look at the degree, the 24th degree, and your Leo placement. That is what matters right now in your life. You have to polish it. You have to clean it. You have to make sure that it shines in luster. That's the point of gold. So what matters in the context of Leo is how you shine and what you shine for. Making sure that it even shines. Making sure it's not off all, looking nasty. You got dirty jewelry on. You were supposed to keep it clean. Now it's time for attention to detail, 10 hut, and you sitting here with smears and fingerprints and grease all over the place. You looking real goofy right now. Like, what is you doing? Fuck you mean? You looking real goofy right now. You supposed to be shining from as a result of self-discipline, self-love, self-respect, dignity. You supposed to be shining. And the way that you shine is according to the house that you have Leo. Where do you have Leo? I got Leo in the first house. All right? I'm going to give you an example. I have Leo in the first house. This means I'm supposed to be at superior fitness. My right-handed guard, I run 5 miles every fucking day, nigga. Five times a day. I run 5 miles every fucking day. And I lift weights. I lift weights and I end it with running 5 fucking miles. And that's after I go to work 5 days a week. After I go to work. And I'm a blue collar craftsman. I do physical work. And I weigh now at 280 pounds. 280 pounds. I don't make excuses for myself. I know what time it is. I know what my chart is saying. And I have superior, I have superior fitness. I have superior athleticism. Not because it's just something given to me, because I work for it. I work damn hard for it. I apply discipline to myself. So I make myself superior to others because of that. And it's not arrogant saying that. It's just acknowledging the fact that I know the average person is not going to do the hard physical work that I do every day. Then it's right from there, go straight to the gym and work out, run 5 miles, and then close the day up. I do this every day and I never make an excuse for myself. Because since the time in New York City, when 2 years ago, almost 3 years, I guess, where I found myself homeless, it was the only way I could take a shower at that time. And I started making a deal with myself that I would just simply trade a workout for a shower. And that was a grace of God, because what it did was it made a revolution in my life toward health, toward fitness. I became healthier than I ever been. I became more fit than I ever been, because I had to trade a workout for a shower even after the hardest days of work. And again, I do physical, hard work. But I wouldn't make excuses. It's the only way I could take a shower. So even after I overcame that situation of homelessness, I kept that line of discipline for myself, because that's personal. That don't have nothing to do with I'm doing this for I can look a certain way I work. I'm doing this so girls can see me a certain way. It's personal with me. That's intimate. I'm making this deal, this contract with myself, that from now on, for the rest of your fucking life, you are going to trade a workout for a shower. If you don't work out, you don't get the shower. If you want to shower, you have to work out, then shower. That's my trade. That's my law. And I live by it since then. And I have achieved superior, fitness status for myself. I go to the gym and I really wow people up in there. I'm not just tooting my horn. I wow out up in there. First house Leo, that's what I'm supposed to do. When you got first house at Leo, your body Your physical form, your anatomy, the way you look, you're supposed to look like you the fucking king. You're supposed to look like you in charge of the shit. You're supposed to look like a fucking drama movie just showed up. And I made sure that's how I look every fucking day. I look like that. Because I put hella discipline behind it so I can afford to look like gold. I'm 41 years old and I still look beautiful in my physical form. I still look wonderful. I'm healthy, I'm athletic, I'm fit. On the drop of a dime, I could run 5 miles, no problem. And I weigh 280 pounds. That's only because of discipline. So wherever you have Leo, that's where you're supposed to be polishing that gold. You're supposed to be refining the gold. And when the opportunity comes at the 10th house, I'm still talking about myself, opportunity comes at the 10th house through Uranus, I'm already there because of how I treat myself, because of how I live out my laws and rules and values for myself. I believe in athleticism and perfection over my physical form for myself. And what that does is it has a secondary opportunity in career, 10th house Taurus. A secondary opportunity. And that secondary opportunity is when Uranus opens something up. Guess what? I'm already ready for it because I got the formula that makes me prepared for it at all times. So what you want to do? What you want to do? Ain't none of y'all stronger than me in a work environment. None of y'all are more athletic than me. I know where I've been all over America with this. You know, it's things like that. And it's not about being able to talk shit. It's about being able to know that I have prepared myself for this. Because I prepared myself to be myself every day. I prepared myself to be true to myself every day. I'm authentic. And because of that, I get to reap the rewards and benefits of that which was already prescribed for me in my destiny. What is you talking about? That's what this is about. So if you was bullshitting, fucking around, you ain't gonna see none of that. You're gonna fumble the ball. And somebody else gonna get it and you're gonna be mad. Holding focus. Holding focus. Understand,